We're continuing our unit on solving with solving inequalities here in chapter 2. And so we are going to talk about our 4 inequality symbols. They're also posted in our room. Is less than, is greater than, is less than or equal to, and is greater than or equal to. You also have some key phrases here that will be helpful for you to look at. So keep these notes out as you work on stuff so you have those to help you. We're going to start by writing some inequalities, and we're just going to read exactly what it says and put it together as it asks. A number W, so write that down, minus 3, okay, subtract 3, is less than or equal to negative 2. And that's it. We're just writing each sentence as an inequality. Next it says 3 is less than, so less than is like this, is less than a number n plus 5, so adding 5. Zero is greater than, so our greater than sign, or equal to twice a number x, so that would be 2 x's, or 2 times x plus 1, so add 1. A number b is fewer than 30. If you look on our chart, it says that fewer than is the same thing as less than, so less than 30. And then lastly, negative 7 is at least. At least means that it could be that thing, or it could be more than, so greater than or equal to, and that's in the chart, is at least twice the number k minus 4. Here in this bottom section you see how we can plug in to check if an inequality is true and to see if something is a solution. So if we're plugging in negative 6, we see that yes, it is true, and so negative 6 would be a solution of the inequality. X plus 5 is greater than or equal to 2. There can be lots of solutions for inequalities because lots of things satisfy and make that inequality true. And so when we have more than one, we call it a solution set. On these next 3, we're going to tell whether negative 4 is a solution. So what we're doing is we're going to put negative 4 into these inequalities and we're going to see if it makes it true. When you do this, please use parentheses. Okay, so I'm going to put negative 4 where the x is. I'm substituting negative 4 in parentheses, and I'm going to add 8, and that needs to be less than negative 3. If it's not, then it's not a solution. So negative 4 plus 8 is 4, because I'm at negative 4 and I go up 8. We're trying to see if this is true. 4 is less than negative 3. Well, 4 is greater than negative 3, so this is false. So I'm going to put like a slash through my equal sign. Let's say that's false. And because it's false, that means that no, negative 4 is not a solution of that inequality. Again, we're going to check if negative 4 is a solution to this inequality. So instead of putting m, I'm going to put minus, and in parentheses, negative 4. It's important to put your parentheses. That way you remember that you're subtracting a negative. Now, when I see subtracting a negative, that's really the same thing as adding. Because if I take away someone's debt, like if someone owes me $4 and I take away their debt, it's like I'm giving them money. And so really this is like adding 4 if I'm taking away a negative. And so we can rewrite this as 3 plus 4. So our inequality says 10 is less than or equal to 7. Well, we know that's not true. 10 is greater than or equal to 7. And so this is again false. And because it is false, we say no, negative 4 is not a solution. Last one. I made a typo here. This should say plus 25. Can you please change it on your paper? Now we're going to substitute. So I'm going to substitute where I see the x, I'm going to put in negative 4. So now it says 4 times negative 4 plus 25 is greater than negative 2. And we want to see, is that true? I know 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. And if I add negative 16 plus 25, I get positive 9. Okay, well, 9 is greater than negative 2, so that is true. And because it's true, that means that yes, negative 4 is a solution. Now we've got graphing. So if I am graphing things that are less than or greater than, then I use an open circle. If I have less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, I use a closed circle. So you have some examples here. X is less than 2, would have an open circle at 2, and go to the left because the x values are less than 2 to the left. 1, 0, and negative 1. X values greater than 2 would be an open circle at 2 and to the right. If it's less than or equal to 2, that means it's a closed circle because it could be equal to 2, but it's less than. So again, it goes to the left. And lastly, greater than or equal to 2 would be a closed circle at 2, and greater is to the right. When we graph, two helpful things to remember. We want the variable on the left. So if your little inequality sentence, you want the variable on the left. And the second thing is that to help you, if your variable is on the left, then you can make your inequality sign an arrow to tell you which way to draw your arrow. So let's do the first one. Y is less than or equal to negative 3. So it's less than or equal to, so it's going to be a closed circle at negative 3. And the y value is already on the left, so that's good. What I can do is I can make this into an arrow like that to tell me which way to draw it. So since my y values get smaller than negative 3 going to the left, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, I point the arrow to the left. X values greater than 0, I would draw an open circle at 0, and my x is already on the left, so I can just make this into an arrow to tell me, okay, I go to the right. X values get greater to the right because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are all bigger numbers than 0. 2 is less than x. Now this is an example of a time when our x value is not, or our variable is on the right, and so we're going to flip this like a mirror. So if we flip it, then we could rewrite this as x is greater than 2, and if you're not sure what to do, you're just flipping everything. So I flip the sign and the x and the 2. This is like there's a mirror down the center, and I'm flipping it. Another way to think about it, if you read it from right to left, it says x is greater than 2. So we are going to put an open circle at 2, and x values greater than 2 would go to the right because 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are greater than 2. But you'd also make your inequality into an arrow to point to the right. B values greater than or equal to negative 8. My variable is already on the left-hand side, so I can make this into an arrow to tell me, okay, I'm going to put a closed circle at negative 8, and then my arrow will go to the right because I'm doing greater than or equal to, and values get greater to the right. The graphs show the height restrictions h in inches for 2 rides at an amusement park. Write an inequality that represents the height restriction of each ride. So we are using h. The height for this one, it starts at at 48 and goes to the right. So it is values bigger than 48, but it also could be 48 because we saw a closed circle. So greater than or equal to 48. And lastly, we have an open circle at 52, and then it goes down. So my height would have to be less than 52, because everything smaller than that is what is shaded right now.